Hello there modelers, and welcome to this rapid video build of building Tamiya's 1/48 scale Skyraider. Now in this kit it is a fairly oldish Tamiya kit, but still has all the lovely surface detail, fits really well as well, very nicely fitting. As you can see, nice recessed panel lines and rivets. We do get pilots with this, although the head maybe could have been a bit more better detail, but loads and loads of weapons and everything fits lovely. So let's get down to the building. We've got lovely polycaps with this kit as well, so for weapons and in this case the engine section we can have our propeller sort of positionable. So we're just kind of like gluing these bits together ready for spraying, so cocktail stick in there so it's nice and hands free. Straight in with some primer by Vallejo, which is my preferred primer, and we can prime up all the kit, starting off with that light misty coat and then building it up with normal light coats as we go along. About 2 or 3 coats will do. I'm just going to clean my airbrush now because we're going to be using lacquer based paint, so I like to get my airbrush thinking lacquer based paints by cleaning it with the Mr. Tool cleaner. We're going to be using 218 and 214 Mr. Metal color. Now the aluminium color, you know, it's quite good, but the dark iron is way better. It's just it's one of these things that you spray down and then you buff them, but the dark iron kind of goes down kind of really smoky and very sort of dirty and dusty. But when you rub at these kind of paints, what happens is you begin to buff at it and you bring out the nice natural metal finish. As I say, the aluminium's good, it does buff up to be a nice aluminium finish, but the dark iron really, as you can see, it leaves behind dustiness in all the recesses, so it's basically spraying, polishing and weathering all in one go. We can use a cocktail stick if you need to, get in those hard to reach places, and it really does do a good job on engines and exhausts. As you can see there, quick and easy and effective. So we're going to come in with some black and our XF24 dark grey. We're going to be using that for the cockpit, but before we do that I just want to clean the airbrush with some acrylic based finish, just to again get our airbrush used to acrylic based finish. So we've sprayed all our cockpit and we want to now gloss this over with some GX112. As you can see, we just put a nice light misty coat and then some good light coats on that. Now this fits together rather well, this kit actually. Not much to write home about on the fit, but there is some areas in this that could have done with a little bit of extra detail, i.e. these wheel wells. As you can see, very blank sort of walls there, so I'm just coming out with some plasticard, cutting it to size, gluing it into place, and just doing a couple of them. I mean, there's nothing sort of accurate about this, it's just kind of like jazzing up and making it look good. Using a blade, we can cut it after it's glued and dried on the model so we get a perfect fit. Now RP Tools does some really good hexagonal punch and die set here. I'm using a 0.7 mil just here, and we just basically slide a bit of plasticard in there, kind of almost as thick as you want, and we just hammer that away, and we make ourselves some hexagonal bits of plasticard, like some bolts going on there, and we can basically just place this where we want them very carefully. It's quite fiddly stuff, and we can then glue them in place, and we can have these lovely little tiny bolts in these areas that just need that bit more detail. As you could see, it just livens it up a little bit more. You don't have to go too much, or you could go as far as you want. You could do hoses and everything. Now jumping into a bit of decaling here, we're going to be first off we want to remove the decals, and we're doing the instrument display panel. So after you've dipped them in water and then moving, we're going to start off with the Mr. Mark setter, putting that straight onto our instrument display panel, putting our decal on top, and then putting more setter on top of that. And just be careful, you want to position these just right so the dials line up. After about 10 minutes we can roll out all the moisture and air that's underneath our decal, right, just to get it to conform and go down better and have that adhesiveness. And we could keep putting layers of this on top until it's pretty kind of like adhered and conformed to the model. And I'll sort of almost at the end, put some softer on top of that, and that really kind of gets it to conform to all our dials. Bit of painting, bit of white painting with a paintbrush just to do buttons and stuff, but we're going to be using black night and medium grey panel line washes, wash, but we're going to use it as a wash. So we're using the grey on the black areas and the black on the grey areas. They're good colours to kind of bring out the detail, as well as inside our engine cowl as well. Now we're going to use a bit of a dry brush here with no sort of thinners, and we're going to, after our enamel panel line wash has dried, we can just brush that off, feather it in, and get rid of any sort of, where it's on the flat spots, it sometimes looks a bit funny, so you know, just brushing that in just feathers that in nicely. Now we're going to glue in with Tamiya extra thin cement to get our cockpit just in there. But when it comes to the opposite side, we can't really glue it, so I like to come in with Tamiya cement. This is the thicker stuff, right? This doesn't dry as quick, which means we can take our time kind of putting it together, and it just glues the opposite side where we can't get to. So bringing this together now, just get some clamps and pegs if need be. We don't glue until it's all in, and just with your nail you can just test and make sure we've got no steps or anything like that, and we can go around with the Tamiya extra thin cement. Now with the wing section, I do believe there's a bit of a gap here, and sometimes this is just ejector pin marks that just need that little bit of a sanding to them, just to get rid of those little tiny gaps. So just always test fit your models. And then with the wings, I just like to actually kind of like glue and peg as I go along. So I'll just glue and peg and go around that way. Just be careful nothing drips down across the wing and onto your thumb. Now there is a bit of a gap area here, as you can see right in there. So there's two different engine cowls here, one where it's open, one where it's closed, so just be careful of that. Now I do want to close my air brake, so we do have to modify a little bit here and cut these little tabs off, right, so it doesn't it's not in the open position, we can have it in the closed position. Little bit of sand in here because it's slightly creating a step, so I'm making it a bit thinner, sand it away, test fit, and you shouldn't feel a step, and then we can glue that back into place. Now I've got our fuselage and wing section separate because we want to make sure we've got full access. As you can see, I can sand right up to the corner without that fuselage on. And we're just gonna, I like to use the green putty, the squadron stuff. That's really good for a lot of gaps. We need to leave it about 24 hours to dry, but we're moving along with the sanding, where you start off with a medium going into a light sanding stick, and this model really didn't need much really. It was such a good fit, but there are some areas where it's too tight, as you can see, to get in a sanding stick. So I'm just actually coming in with a blade to actually sand away the join line just there and make it nice and seamless. Bringing the wing section together now, it tucks in nicely at the back, and then clamp that down, but there is a bit of gap it's going on just there. We'll deal with that later, but for now we can just glue this together all the way around. Now with the plastic putty is one way of dealing with this, which is a good putty which we can inject straight directly to where the gap is, right, nice and easy. And before it dries, we use a cotton wool bud and wipe up the excess, and it just kind of leaves behind in the actual recess, as you can see in the gap, and then that gets that all nicely filled in. You might have to do one or two applications and then tidy up here and there around where you've applied it, but another way is some 3D photo resin, right? We can just use a paintbrush or a cocktail stick and we can paint this right into the gaps where we need to. And this stuff's really good because it's only activated via UV light, so we can take all the time in the world to get this just right. Again, we're using a cotton wool bud that's soaked in IPA just to sort of clean up around the edges and make sure we get it just where it is. And as I say, you can get it as right as you need to get it, and then when you're ready, just a nice UV light activates that within like 30 seconds. So now we just need to close up a few areas here. So I'm just generally kind of cutting a general shape of where our engine bit is just there. I did need to cut out a little bit in the middle because the engine does stick out a little bit, and then it's normally you want it to be a bit more oversized than it needs to be, because this foam does kind of shrink and expand as much as you sort of want it to, and you can just tidy that up with a blade or a sewing needle. Now just before we do some spraying, I like to get a toothbrush out and sort of brush around, getting out any sort of sanding debris out of recessed panel lines and rivets, and a bit of IPA on a kitchen paper towel, and we can just clean up and get rid of any grease, coming out, drilling holes and getting your toothpicks out just to get everything nice and hands free. I do like the locking tweezers as well for that. So coming along, we're going to now go 50-50 mix with our primer by Vallejo. Again, I do love Vallejo primer. About a 50-50 mix. Your air pressure is just under like 20 psi as well. Give that a good mix. And I always like to start off with a light misty coat. This is just a quick lit misty coat. It just helps all your other coats afterwards stick to the model better, and then we can come with a more light coat that looks a bit more wet when it goes down. So that's all the priming done there, which brings us now to some black by Vallejo 051, where we're going to do some pre-shading. This is where we do about a 50-50 mix again with homebrew thinners, and it's all about slowly pulling back that trigger where the paint just comes out. That's a nice biting point where we just get the paint and we just move and make shapes. Whereas with pre-shading, we're going to just kind of nicely, not too neat, kind of a bit random, so it looks a bit weathered. Just follow those recessed panel lines and recessed rivets, and maybe a little bit of mottling just inside those panel lines. Our main colours are going to be 317 and 316 by Hobby Colour with their Hobby Colour thinners. So on the underside, we've got this Insignia white, which isn't totally white, and we're just going to again nice couple of light coats on there, but when you get to maybe one or two coats, you want to sort of thin your paints down, because you're just seeing that pre-shading just come through. So I'm just adding a little bit of thinners there just to make the paint more transparent, so as we have more control, so we don't actually kill off all that pre-shading that we've got on there. It might take you maybe 2 or 3 more coats to get there, but we're not going to kill it off straight away. Now you might find some areas that you think are a bit too intense, so like the last bit I kind of like, don't spray all over it, but just where it sort of needs it. So now we're coming in with full on pure white. This is going to be our bleaching, right? So we don't have to add white to white, we just use you don't have to add white to Insignia white, we can just use full on white now. And this is where we kind of do the same thing, get your biting point, but kind of do like a mottled effect inside the panel lines, right, on your flatter areas, just to create a little bit more weathering. A little bit hard to see with it all being quite white, but you can just about see it just kind of adds a bit more interest. And there you go, a little bit of a glare with the light, and you can just see how that goes. So now we're going to do some masking just at the back here. Now with this kit, there's a little bit of complex masking, but there's an easy way of going about it. I like to sort of start from point A to point B to get nice straight lines, as you can see. And then with a cocktail stick, I'm just sort of making an imprint there of where we need to cut out with our blade. Rather than just masking around that, we can cut those little bits out, and those are going to be those lovely little details that you see in spraying that can really make a lot of difference. As you can see, that is going to look good when that's sprayed. Now the front of the nose section is a little bit more sort of like a freehand sort of look to it. So we're coming in with some white tack here, just to make our shape, and then we will add some masking tape on that to get it all masked ready for the top spray colour. As you can see, that's all nice and done there. A little bit of masking tape on the wheel well doors, just so I feel like they might get a bit of overspray on them, so I added some there. And then we're back to the pre-shading again on the top side. Then we come in with the H3, 325 for our top side, and again it's the good old light mister coat with about 2 normal light coats should do it. And then we're going to come in with 316 as our bleaching, just like we've done on the underside. And as you can see, it adds a little bit more interest to it all. Now we're going to add some H12 to our mixture of our grey colour, just to darken that all up. This is going to be post shading now, so we kind of want the mixture to be maybe about 70% thinners to paint, so it's a bit more transparent, so we've got a bit more control, and we just want to get that biting point and do the whole let's do line. So we're basically doing that whole pre-shading, but now we're doing it on top, which is post shading. As you can see, you get that bit of a darker weathered look to all your panel lines. I'm also going to use the same colour for the underside, so don't worry about going over onto the white as well. And the odd little place here and there, I like to make it a bit darker, just to add that little bit of finesse with the weathering as well. As you can see, you just concentrate in a little area, makes it look a little bit cooler. And then we're going to put a gloss coat on top of that, ready for the decaling stage, which I like to put a decent gloss coat on top of here, because if it's nice and smooth, it's good for decals. And that's it. Hopefully you've enjoyed part 1 of building Tamiya's 1/48 scale Skyhawk. We'll have a part 2 up soon, so as always, until then, please go check out the Genesis Models website for more videos and rapid video builds. But as always, my name is Bob Waldron, this is Genesis Models, and I'll catch you later.